never fails. Your boat's running perfect all summer long, and one day you go to start it and you hear, well, if your battery's charged, that little click you hear is the starter solenoid. So that means it's working. So the culprit is likely the starter. You can give it a few light taps to see if it's just slightly seized, and maybe it'll free up the magnets. And if you still get clicks, then there's a bigger problem. So I pulled the starter out of the boat. It's easy, it's just two nuts at the top of these. And then I just pulled those out, and you can see the exact problem here. The brushes are broken. So I've had this happen before, and it's just a starter out of a Ford or a Volvo, and the brush kit was 20 bucks. So I'm going to grab that this week, and I'll be up and running again next weekend. But you can see the soldering broke right off of that one and that one. So I'm not sure what causes that, whether it's corrosion or whether it's just, you know, because the battery was dead and it was cranking power, it just melted it. I'll get that fixed up, and I'll show on the video reinstalling the starter. When we last left the Starcraft here in the fall with the faulty starter motor, I took it apart. I don't even know whether I'll be able to find the old video footage, but if I do, you've already watched it, so thank you for sticking to this part. But long story short, I took it to the starter alternator place that I usually deal with, and they ordered me another one because the magnets were all smashed inside from us tapping on it, trying to get it to fire over, but in fact, it was the brushes that were faulty again. So they ordered me one in, I want to say, October, and it never came in. It never came in. They kept on telling me it was COVID and blah, 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 but it still didn't come in. I phoned in February knowing boating season was fast approaching, and still was no activity. So I just hopped on eBay and bought a brand new one. So this is it here, and we're gonna put this in. It's an easy process. This is like very, very low skill level that it requires. Just make sure you have the right parts, of course. But you can see here where we left it. Starter goes in here. We've got power off the solenoid, and everything's good to go from there. It grounds off the housing, and once it's installed, we should be able to fire this bad boy up. Let's do it. So this starter didn't come with the nuts, so I ordered some nylock nuts. Didn't order them, I got them from Home Hardware. But simple Simon. Just pop this up in here like so. I've got washers too. I'm just going to put this in place to hold it. Periodically check these nuts too for tightness, because I've had them come loose on the old one, and when it comes loose, the starter will drop down like that, and you may actually damage your pinion gear. That wouldn't be fun. The trick with these is never try and crank the boat over when the battery's dead or dying low. If you suspect the battery needs, if it doesn't try right off the bat and you suspect the battery needs a charge it, because that's what happens is you overload the brushes on the starter motor, and it just, they don't have the wiring doesn't have the staying power to stay alive, so it just melts the brushes right off the end of the wires. I've seen it happen on ATV and marine. Just one of those freak things. So we're good there. Nice and tight. Top are tight. Let's fire this up. There's usually intake holes on the lower unit, and you just want to make sure that these cover the intake holes. Turn the water on, make sure there's a good steady flow before you run this out of the water. Oh! That's how you replace the starter motor on an outboard engine. Thanks for watching.